Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Cross from the Voice of the Light Studios. I'm your anchor, Joshua Adigbite. Well, today we're very privileged and honored to sit with an icon, to sit with a towering figure in the field of law, a foremost educationist. Even at over 90, it's his wealth of experiences has continued to span every facet of life. He has continued to bless us with constructive and thought-provoking messages and criticism. He's a nation builder. He's a man that inspires a lot of people from all walks of life. I won't do much. Definitely you get to hear from him. Once again, it's an honor to sit today with Afe Babalola, a legal icon and the founder of Afe Babalola University in Ado-Ekiti, one of the best universities in the world. And of course, he is a man of many parts. He's a farmer and he has achieved a lot. Once again, it's good to have him here. And so, Afe Babalola, thank you very much, sir, for granting us this opportunity to sit with you and judge you like this.
Okay, good morning.
We appreciate it sincerely. I must say this is our own pleasure and we're really happy to have this opportunity. There are a lot of things to talk about. Journalist delights, like I did talk about, your wealth of experience is something that we'll continue to drink from in this nation. But maybe we should quickly go back to the beginning for purposes of motivation, inspiration, education, enlightenment, and for others to also get to know more about how to navigate the complexities of life. I want to go back to the beginning and ask a question about your educational background. There have been a lot of debate about how somebody as successful as this. People will say, Afe Babalola did not go to school. But of course, we have come to learn that, okay, it's something that we can call autodidactic. The way you have actually engaged in private studying. How were you able to accomplish this? That even those who actually were within the four walls of the classroom have not achieved what you have been able to achieve today. How did this happen, sir?
Well, let me first welcome you.
Thank you very much, sir.
To our board.
Thank you very much, sir.
I regret that you have been here for the whole night and I learned you did not even have your normal evening food. We will make up for that.
Thank you very much, sir. The point is that we have you here on the seat, and we are elated.
Thank you. Now, I was born in Ado-Ekiti.
Okay.
One white man came here when we went around. He said, Baba, you have lived the life of ages. Very correct. And well said. I was born into an age when there was no electricity, when there's no what we now call match. Very much.
Very much. Okay.
When there were no shoes.
Wow.
My parents never wore shoes.
Yeah.
It was not a shame. It was natural. They traveled barefooted from miles to our farm, which was about 9 miles from the town.
What a distance.
Because of the distance, we used to sleep on the farm. So personally, and I keep on asking myself, why did they not make ordinary war around the pot? They put in each corner trees.
Trees.
Then make a fence, the hall, the tent.
The tent.
Palm leaves.
Some leaves. Okay.
There were no mats.
So you sleep on regular.
At night, every 3 days, we need to cut palm leaves.
Okay.
Spread it on the floor. In the center, you made fire. It sticks big cut from big trees. Without that light and heat, there was plenty of rain at that time. I recall that, of course, as I told you earlier, there were no pants, no sleeveless. We covered ourselves with what we call native white cloth.
Wow.
When you want to sleep. Which were only sent back to our mother for dying once a year. They were full of lies. No baba in the family anyway. The head was also full of lies.
Nice. So I understand.
We need to drink our blood, our sock and blood. It was natural to us. Don't be afraid.
It's going to be scary.
At night when we slept, there will be fire inside the hut. Provide the heat.
Okay.
Snakes will crawl from the forest.
I was going to ask about dangerous animals.
They won't do anything other than go around in the lights to give them heat.
Oh, wow. They're sharing the same fire that you have.
All the time, and they will crawl into our coverlet. When we woke up in the morning, took off the coverlet, the snakes run back into the forest.
Wow.
Don't run away because of what is that. That's the truth. But when you get it, because what you now buy, you go free. Plenty of fruits, different types. Apart from plantain and others which you planted, there are natural ones.
Yeah.
And at night, before we slept, usually we finish work at about 5 in the evening to cook our food because there was no light. You had to do the pound of the yam before it became dark. So we ate in the same pan.
Is it the mortar or
The mortar.
the mortar?
Put the sauce on the top of it.
The feet.
All it together and of course there was plenty of meat.
Definitely. There's
Well,
the
it is not your cow or beef,
okay.
but plenty of
Bush meat.
bush meat. It was a pleasure to go after 5 p.m. to look for the one we were going to eat that night. It was like an animal indeed.
When you find it exciting. Kenny.
So one day, we used to go home only once or twice a whole year.
Wow.
When we had the Woo Festival
Okay.
and 2 other festivals. Of course, as they get to go back over those long distance, we go in the morning, we get to the farm till about 1. So One day my father called me. He said, I'm going to school. At that time I was already making 100 hips. Yeah.
Now, you are a grown man.
So that shows you how old I must have been.
Started your education.
Between 8 and 10.
Wow.
I wept. Well, can I leave this beautiful environment to a place where I would be going to school every day? And unfortunately, when I agreed, we were being flawed by the teacher.
By teachers. That's cool for you.
I ran back to my father and said, we won't go to school again. Why? Because the teacher, the teachers are not, if you didn't score up to 50% this or that, number of kids could range between 6 to 12.
Wow.
I have lashes on my leg, but
Until today. The scars from those beatings in your formative ages.
I will show you one immediately.
Wow.
Okay. That's a lie.
Wow. Such teachers must be so cruel. I'm sorry for saying that.
No, it was the pattern then.
The pattern then.
They would ask you to take off your clothes and hold your two hands and beat you for failing.
For failing? It's not for trans.
No, it wasn't my turn to my life. So, I was not interested in learning.
Because of the beat.
So, yes, my mind was always on the farm. I wasn't concentrating. Out of 25 of us, when there was terminal examination, my position was either 20, 21, 23. However, things changed. There was what was called St. Andrew's College then. You may check it. It was like University of Nigeria.
Okay. Is St. Andrews in Oyo?
It was in Oyo.
Okay. I must have really been there.
The sent teachers there,
Okay.
trained by white men,
Okay.
where they studied physiology, psychology, and so on of children,
Okay.
and how to impart knowledge. Body. Anybody from Oyo, St. Andrew's College was looked at like a white man.
White man was thoroughbred professionals.
First, they used to wear white cap.
Okay, the teachers.
They used to wear socks,
Okay.
shoes,
And she's
and they used to wear long trousers.
okay.
No other teacher would wear it.
Wow.
Now, it taught me in primary 3, standard 3.
Standard 3 years, it was standard.
That's the first primary 2, 1 and 2. What he did was that he studied the students. They had been taught how to do so. They knew those who are not concentrating. Those who were talented, but their minds were not in school. Put him among those who he thought was not concentrating.
Okay.
So, after, at the end of the year, in standard 3, I found myself with the unit.
Wow.
In the last first 9, 21, 2050. Then by the time we took the final examination in standard 6.
Standard 6.
At that time, there were very few schools in the whole of Ondo State at that time, which reached standard 6. The modern school was one of the 3 in the Kati. We took the same common final standard 6 examination prepared in Lokoja. Kamedo. And when the result came out, I was second the whole of Ondo, Lokoja.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. What a turnaround.
You see the change. God had its plan. I became interested.
In education.
I took a test examination to Christ School, which was the post-primary school, owned and run by a white man called Ajike Dalimo. I passed. It was a blessing.
Okay.
Then my father could not afford the fees. £4.
Okay.
Because at that time, there was no hunger in Nigeria. A load of yam, about 12 or 10 big balls, not even safe for one combo. But there's the yam.
Yeah.
You go to buy it.
People are farmers. We're farmers here.
Exactly. You are a farmer.
Have your own farm, so.
They afford it. They was working hard. Too much produce, too little to save. I had to settle at that age to become ordinary pupil teacher.
After standard 6.
Standard 6. And then £1 a month. After about 2 years, I took the entrance examination to St. College of York.
Yeah.
Was one of the few. Was a national examination. Invited for interview. At the interview, they said I was too young.
Okay. Wow.
So I was admitted to Oyo. I cried. I couldn't go to secondary school. I couldn't go to Farotimi college. But fortunately, I met a young man, a senior teacher, who had read class 4, the secondary school, was preparing for a senior chemist certificate, which was established in 1884 or so.
Wow.
To enable people to stay in their countries all over the world and prepare themselves for examination through tuition. So, I will give you this.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Happy Honors Ford. Founded in 1884.
Wow, that's a long time. Thank you.
Then through history. Then they said notable music honors for students. Number 1, Nelson Mandela.
Wow. Sing Nelson Mandela, president of South Africa.
A perfect
Activist.
politician, philanthropist,
Wow.
human rights advocate.
Wow.
Mandela studied for his London University law degrees through correspondence court.
Wow.
It will sing on Oxford. There is a constitution in Robben Island.
Okay.
Difficulty of obtaining his courses, materials in prison, is evident in the letter from Nelson Mandela to his lawyer, Brown Fitch. Below that page is an Indian called Afe Babalola,
Wow.
Nigerian lawyer,
Adela.
senior advocate of Nigeria, and founder of Babalola University. Afe Babalola began his life in poverty, and for all his youth and early adulthood lived in poverty. Under these difficult circumstances, he enrolled for the small cable certificate examination by public study with Lucy Hall, Oxford, which was the stepping stone he needed to begin his journey to become a lawyer.
Wow.
Then they refer to Guardian. What do you before you go? Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for this information. Yes, sir.
So after that initial success, I was able to use the same correspondence or to pass my history advanced level.
Advanced level, huh?
And when I did, well, I borrowed £4 from relation for my disadvantageable examination. When the result came out, it was published in the Daily Times, the only newspaper then. Headline: This London advanced level result out. 3 Nigerians make 4 advanced level at a sitting.
Wow.
I was one of them.
Oh, congratulations. It's a
3 those are arrested.
wow.
This thing, of course, is very inspiring.
That's right.
I later applied for a course I could do on my own. Couldn't do medicine at home. Couldn't do engineering at home. I knew I could study economics at home.
Were you interested in those other courses?
I was just a different.
Okay.
So after 4 years, I was the only candidate who sat for BS Economics Pious 1959 in Lagos Embassy, in Embassy, where I took the exam. When this came out again, I passed. And then decided, do I want to be a civil servant or a teacher? Love, but you need a lot of money. I have to go to England there. I registered for law through this course
Again.
After 4 years, I obtained my LLB honors papers at home. I was in law school then.
Okay.
We had to go to England for 18 months training for the bar. But my salary had increased. Was only £634
Wow.
a month. So I saved money in a year. I was only £60, not
60 comes, okay.
I saved money. Paid my passing back up to England 1 year. I paid the £180 for the bar for the ends of court. And I was working day and night privately, spending at plate from my bar. In 18 months I passed the bar examination. Was registered
What in the UK there?
in UK.
Okay.
I was registered to practice law in England.
In England.
But I didn't want to stay in Europe, so I had to come back home. And I registered then without law school. I became a lawyer. I was qualified
To practice
practicing law in Nigeria
and in England.
I went to woman. The woman very beautiful.
Okay.
Its name was Oluwayola Nebado. He was the best lawyer, like Luther Williamson.
So yeah, judge. Okay.
So I was paid £40 a month as a donkey lawyer.
Okay.
I had no wife,
No children there. Yeah.
so I ordered room.
Okay.
This one I used to sleep. After 2 years, I decided to leave the scene. I don't know practical to except on no team that's cheap by this.
Wow.
Take up Tedo.
Écoutez des Nibano. Start.
Room of used by you will should end this as garage. Not only to my office. I think that's what say where I started my law practice. Bought a table, 2 chairs, for my clients. The table, chair for my client. Was the charge I'm being mostly.
Okay, then.
Nobody knew me.
Okay, because we're just coming up.
Nobody will come to be man. Easy garage, yes.
But at least you should have heard that you studied in London.
Doesn't they say, oh no, they read this.
Okay.
Was on the notice board. That made a lot of difference.
And there were other lawyers, there were other more experienced lawyers.
No, there was experienced lawyers back to mine. Once they had to treat me in better state than most, you find that most lawyers, they had what they call BL.
Okay.
Without degree.
Okay.
Could become a lawyer at that time with school certificate and BL.
Wow.
With too much training. So most of them were BL.
Okay.
But then came a man with BS economics.
Yes.
London. NLB honors, London. BL.
That's what giving you an edge.
Indeed, he did, of course. And of course, what we did more was the fact that used to be in my office as early as 8 a.m. Worked about 3. Used to go home at about 3, come back at 5, and worked till 11.
Wow.
To prove I won.
11 p.m.
What is some of this one? It was on Saturday or Sunday. I recall a case at about 12 or Sunday.
Okay.
5 men came from Benin. They had the chiefest matter.
And they came all the way from Benin to Ibadan.
They arrived at about 1 o'clock. I had them talk. Oh, didn't tell you the man will be in office.
Wow.
That's the important. People were noticing.
We're noticing the consistency.
At that time, civil servants used to go for civil servants party in the evening. In the I'm saying that. Pardon?
Tennis club or
Tennis clubs.
okay.
Yeah, tennis club. The people advised me to join tennis club.
Club, so
Yeah.
connection, association, yes.
Said no. When people were going, they would see my list too. When coming back, they would see my said, I have a friend who was a member. This is a people suggest. I said, what's up with this man? Does he want to die at all? It will work from Monday till evening. It won't be on Sunday. The result is what you have to be.
It was we're seeing today, sir.
Within a short time, had more clients that they could cope with. I employed 2 Igbos.
Okay.
Later one man is already the night just before he died at Jakaye. So within 3 years, I had 4 billions.
Wow. In your chamber?
Yes. I was, meanwhile, preparing for my master's privately. Then the Biafran war came. My lawyers ran me away.
But because there are evils.
Igbos. That was why I couldn't take my master's. But I left because I had, after all, no degree. Needed money. Money was coming.
And it was coming in.
That's why I never pursued it again.
Never pursued it again.
The chief judge at that time, the appointment to the bench
Okay.
was not by application.
Okay.
It was by invitation.
Wow.
The judges will look at the lawyers, the way they practice, the way they dress, their advocacy in court. Once you attend here, they would there was because they would invite you. Exactly at 10, I was invited to the bench. And I said, man, and Lord, thank you very much. I do not want to be a judge. I want to remain practice.
That's it.
The chief judge then went to Josayola, Misayola. He was my,
You all with you.
that's your man. He wanted me on the bait. I got up to appeal to me and said, no, sir, I want to be full partition refractation. In any case, 87, without knowing, there was the application then. They opened a new office for the Nigeria Plus Station here at Okeado.
Okay, Niba.
So Justice Esho, you know those card yesterday? Yes. He said, we did see your application to become a senior advocate. I said, left to me alone, it's not right for you for somebody to apply to become a senior advocate. You ought to look at the practice of people and select people yourself.
Not qualified, eh?
So what? That's not the practice. The following week, Sadly, Peko still in office now. Went to Subo to hold a case before Justice Mrs. Balegi.
Okay.
What's the key message?
Most.
Sir, people are complaining about Oga. It's by now you ought to be still advocate. Has he done anything wrong? He said, no. So he believe that he ought to be vetted. Because of the fact that people were thinking that I was also sitting as a senior advocate because maybe I done something immoral. And I put it, 87.
What did it say?
I was in my office at about 2 o'clock when the chief judge phoned me. Well, he never told me to apply for the post of senior advocate last night. I'm just coming from Lagos now. You ask for unanimously I need a phone.
Without any connection, without
Connection. So when I went to Lagos to be sworn in, there were 4 of us. One was said disallowed because they will, according to information reaching the bar people, they said he was having sex with many people.
Wow.
It wasn't bad. What do you call that?
Well, you call them gay. All that's good. Those who are engaging in such practices, like this, so homosexuality.
Do you want to love such a person? Anyway, the three of us were blue. The three left were in that day. As the first and only threes. People were worried. I'm seeing the deception of people in the court of law. As far as my name was mentioned.
People
See, that was only thing
people had been expecting that.
expecting it. Anyway, after I became senior advocate, cases became so many. So more parts of the country. And I remember a particular case where Leventis, one of the biggest companies in Nigeria, in Lagos, invited me for a case. When I finished, they gave me a floor free. I was office now. Because I was an office in
Lagos. Because I'm sorry for cutting in, because I was going to ask, because anywhere you mention Afe Babalola, people are looking at a legend. The man, the legend, the myth. People are talking about someone who's larger than life. And then, questions will be asked sometimes that, how did this man become this successful? Just from the practice of law, we've had to ask this question sometimes. So was it when you became an SAN, or was there a landmark case that propelled you to that height, and then you became, because you are not only successful in terms of experience, but of course in terms of wealth too. God has blessed you so much, and we can also see that. So we need to ask that question of that. And there are people who will say, okay, maybe it was his connection and relationship with politicians, and we've had people say that.
What a good question indeed. Now that was, as I told you, from ordinary charge and day.
You said so.
To the extent that I was also invited to the bench exactly at 10 o'clock, at 10 years. But one thing I mentioned, which you probably have overlooked, was that I said I was working from 8
to 11.
Break, come back 7 to 11 every day.
So I'd work. Agents.
Take notice of, we are not to advertise. It is what you do that's advertised. You. And I told you of a case from Benin all the way to Benin. And they met me in my ways. It was my devotion to work. And of course, the successes accompanying it that brought clients from no
walks of life. Yeah.
So my practice extended to Lagos through Leventis. Later, people knew me through these cases.
Okay.
And practice in this excessively, and in the north. Even the richest man in the coal of Bono, just in the, you remember?
Sure.
No. Call my boss for me. The richest man there was my client.
Was your client?
His estate in Bono was more than the whole of this university. My director. I pray my director in Bono. As for that, to today, but name is there. My director. Right from Bono is client. Was my client? Is a client. Most of the rich people in the country were my clients. And above all the oil companies were my clients.
Wow. Each all of these institutions, these individuals, they got connected to you. World Bank.
Yes.
Well, we also learned that the late Ariano Kakanfo, MQ Abiola, was your
Abiola was my client. Allah from you was my client. Of course, you know about that because you are from Oyo area.
definitely.
All his case.
And there was a case that you really did for him too at that time. Don't know if you had the time to.
That case. So that's why I became the Ari. After winning that major case in the day for him. After making me Ari, now made me Ari. Yoruba land in law.
Okay. So he was the Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land, and now you are the Are of Yoruba land. Are Bamofi. Are Bamofi. So like that. Wow. Was an interesting story. Okay, so let's fast forward and let's come to this present age and let's delve a bit into the state of the nation. Like I did say earlier, your wealth of experience transcends generations. And of course, I have read a lot about your publications. Sometimes when you need to be critical about the way this country is being, I'm sure that this is not the Nigeria of your dream. I'm sure. And you made a statement shortly before the 2023 general election. You suggested that there should be an interim government in place for like a period of 6 months. President Muhammadu Buhari should hand over to that interim government when we will now look into overhauling our constitution and coming up with a fresh one. Yes, it was a source of debates in the polity. I want to take you back to that. Looking at where we are right now, do you think that if we had gone that route at that time, we will be having something concrete and better today?
Sir, thank you very much. You've told an easy,
Okay.
which worries me every day, every night.
Okay, sir.
And the issue you raise is also very important.
Okay, sir.
One, to our existence now, or to our non-existence in the future. It was as back as 1835 that one Lord Macaulay, a parliamentarian,
Okay.
spoke to his British Parliament on 2nd February that year. And I quote him, "I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I've not seen one person who is a beggar, or one person who is a thief. Such wealth I've seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we would ever conquer this country unless we bring the very backbone of this nation, which is our spiritual or cultural heritage. And I therefore propose that we replace our old and ancient educational system, our culture. For if the African thinks that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they become what we want them to be, a truly dominated people.
Wow.
Now,
He got it.
you know what country was only 1835 back? No better. No fee. Like I told you when I was going to farm, a load of yam would go for only 2 pence. Nobody wanted to buy because everybody was satisfied. We were working. A man who does not work, it's not a time to eat.
Yeah.
Most Nigerians do not work. I delivered a lecture in Oxford some years back. We quoted the case of a young man in the north who had 134 wives. About 300 children.
134 wives. Or 34? 134 wives.
That is incredible to say the least. It's true. I told you of my own family, how self-sufficient we were. Because of the economy at the time, I couldn't go to secondary school because yams no sell. Everybody had yams. That was all we were producing. Everybody had maize. That was what we were producing. Look, recently, in my weekly write-up, the papers, I challenged and bemoaned the action of governors of our country to the federal government, asking people to come and line up with a plate for a plate of food. A solution to Nigeria problem that is wrong. Make me feel ashamed that ordinary people overseas will now see us as beggars. You want to hear the beggars? It's a shame.
They call it stomach infrastructure.
The Constitution doesn't say the government should feed people. On the contrary, what it says is that it should provide conducive atmosphere for you to develop. The welfare of the people. For you to have your farm, what they are feeling, make your to be whatever you are doing, carpentry, iron bender, whatever. Provide electricity for them. We have in Ekiti alone, a dam and 2 other dams. Created by very early governors. They have actually dead. Nobody uses them. Now the climate has changed. We have only had 2 rains since November last year in Ekiti. That should be a signal to everybody, to the governor. Go to write it. Divide these big dams. Allow irrigation to start, like they do in the road. The vegetables from Saudi Arabia arrives in, and it's arrives in London as early as 8 a.m. They are deserts. Didn't do it for the bear. It is through irrigation that they have been ordered. I've not seen the Parliament, the Senate, or House of Rep talk about climate change. Where the country is concerned, we are taking those steps. But solutions. That takes me into the fact that Nigeria is not a country.
Nigeria is not a country.
No, it's not a country of a nation.
How so, sir?
It is only a country in law. It is a country of nations.
Okay.
There are many nations
In like
in the so-called
country, okay.
set one
No, another country.
one nation.
Hmm.
There are many tribes.
Definitely.
There are many religions,
Their languages and culture.
different cultures. There's the culture of not sending children to school. same country. That's the culture of sending children to school in the same country. So you can, but you can live together as a nation. You can become a nation, not a country. Not a country of nation, but a nation. Okay. Well, there's also surplus for becoming United States of Nigeria. America realized that for certain nation, so they join together. And properly done, it can be better in everything, to economics, production, and so on, than even in the US. I'm a senior advocate of a new constitution in the country.
In the country, a new constitution. You are not a proponent of amendment or
A senior advocate of return to 1960 constitution with modification.
1960 constitution with modification.
I was Zeke and others. So they don't know. In Europe, all went to England, spent 10 years to draft a constitution for
Nigeria.
They realized that Nigeria is not is a nation. It was brought together in 1845 by Europe. Not to be a nation, but to be a market.
A market, of course.
Business.
It's a company.
They had no business in it. It was the Christians who came and started all the education we are talking about. They were more interested in their palm oil, granite, and so on and so forth. And yet we are not thinking about how to become a nation. I'm an advocate for excellence of journalism.
Journalism. Scores coming to that.
Where each region will be the totality of the ethnic group there.
Okay.
And then formulate, like in this constitution, they want to develop maybe commerce, education, religion, and so on and so forth. With all of us having a federal constitution, which only take care of national matters, like Green Line, electricity, and so on and so.
Okay.
In fact, electricity should now be a matter for each region.
It's sub-national sense.
Electricity is a new development. It's only started in the 19th century. It crashed in 1860. Before everybody was using stone to make fire. But it has changed the whole world. With it to fly in the air, go under sea, conquer the world because of electricity. How can a state like mine, Ekiti, left, if you go out by your way, go left. We have villages called Ijo, Ilolomba, I said Bado, to the Farotimi, which had electricity for many years until the present governor came. No electricity. You do not need government to give electricity. All you do want to do is to ensure that people form cooperative societies.
Okay.
Please can form one. I was a teacher in Kobe College before. Nobody want to give an individual money. But if you are in a group,
The group, yes.
you get money.
With the way that facility, yeah.
So there's what we call solar light. They can really do it. Man, that's the only one in the country and they can.
This university.
Yes. We have our electricity, we've had it for many years. Generate our electricity.
I'm sorry for cutting it in. So before we go straight into because you've mentioned the university, so let's even go deeper into the university and how you came up with this idea. Yes, I'm aware that you were the pro chancellor at University of Lagos for many years, and then you were even rated as the best pro chancellor in the country for some years, I guess consecutively, if I'm not mistaken, 2-3 years. So everything you did there at that time, did it motivate you? Did it inspire you to actually come up with your own university? Because there are lots that we've heard about this university.
I learned to learn good, but I multiply a lot good.
Okay.
Did what I saw.
Okay, what you saw.
I did in the 7 years when I was the protege at Lagos. Inspired me. All right. On the contrary, I wasn't inspired.
Okay. Inspiration is it's a huge word.
It told me that one day I had to leave the university where I was begged to serve as pro-chancellor pro bono.
You were begged. You did this pro bono.
The problems afflicting the university. I solved them. By that time, foreign companies did not want to employ students who came out of upon universities. But when they saw the change and made the University of Lagos, they started to employ those from that university. So when I left here, I said, wait, God has been merciful to me more than I expected. Like Bishop Kuka said, when he had a Batambala, it said Emmanuel went to school. But he connected him. I said he went to school, but he stopped the education in primary services. Here is a man that people need to say a tree doesn't make a forest. But Afe Babalola did this as made a forest. The truth is that in this country, education is not good enough to put the country forward.
The quality of education we have at the moment.
Quality and functionality of the education is important. And it only needs some character. When you are well trained, it is showing the way you move, the way you dress, the way you walk. That is character. When they say man has character, it means everything. Can trust him with your work. Can give him job to do and you go away. Can put money in this counter and go away. Come back. Meet it there. And every certificate given by any university contains the words for learning
and character.
Which of the universities train character? Take my University of Lagos. When I got there, more than 80 students had been sent away because of drugs also. And I said, look, I'm not going to destroy anybody. University is to build people, not destroy. Call the parents of all of them. Brought the students.
I told them, give undertaking that you won't do this, you won't do that. And I bought them. 2 of them have become ministers today.
Wow. 2 of those
Of those
students
who are,
then.
who are
expelled, yes.
earlier,
Wow.
brought back by me. Go around my university. I said, you ask, why did they decide to start?
Because you were a successful
Was
lawyer
I
already.
inspired? No, I was not inspired. I was worried.
Worried.
Like what I saw in Poly universities. And we need an example of what a university should be. When I decided to sell my properties and invest in this university to be
You want to sell your properties.
yes. Empty my bank account.
Wow.
There's no 1 kobo from the government in this university.
Can take any no fertility. That's a
We were thief for it. It's
huge sacrifice.
It was a decision I took because in there was no God's support for me to lead privately, I would not be what I am today. I thank God for Usipol, as I told you. It was because of that I now asking College London to start the same system. So as students all over the Africa again can apply and go through my system and make it. I donated 10 million pounds to Crypto to start it. We have started now.
10 million pounds.
Yes, to start the Afe Babalola course.
Okay. Babalola course.
Yes. Similar to Wisi, that was then. The course which I did, which made me what I am, and I've started it.
Right.
Education is the surest means by which you can go overcome ignorance, make life better for yourself, become known, and become wealthy. It's surest. It's surer than selling Kilba. So, I still believe we can make it. So now we have started down, graduated number 1, this university.
This university, a private university.
Yes, number 1 in the country, 3 times succession.
In Nigeria.
And of course, number 1 in the world in about 4 years.
Wow.
In the world.
In about 4 areas.
Student development number 7, the United Nations were number 1. So the next ranking will be known in 2-3 months before you. I can show you go to the higher. Because I did better and did better every day.
Yeah, but if I may just ask this. Yes, Afe Babalola and some other private universities have continued to break new grounds. But the questions will arise sometimes like, how do children of people who are not really wealthy afford the education here?
What's the question? Please, you do yourself big.
Okay.
In Lagos, there are many private
University schools. Yes.
secondary school.
Yes, secondary schools. Yes.
By English, by American. The money you pay there is more than double what you
Pay here.
pay here. Even every secondary school in Lagos. same thing in Malaysia, same thing in the north. If you have quality in institution, people will look for it.
They look for the money.
There are many Nigerians overseas. Many parents send their children overseas because of quality education. But our money is still lower than what to pay in England, lower than what to pay in Lagos, lower than what to pay in the Abujas. We are the lowest because we still want to attract men. In any case, we have students from all the states in the country, but we also have students from Africa, China, who are not Nigerians.
A lot of Nigerians.
Who come here.
They prefer to come and have their education here.
Yes. I'm still white among them. I'm achieving my goal. That goal is quality, affordable education with character. The only university where our students stay on campus. The only university.
100%. So all the students reside on campus.
Classmates are monitored from their room to their room to their
The classes to their.
And the only university where teachers teach from 7 to 9 in the evening. The only university.
To have classes in the evening.
Yes. But that's so weird. This house is so weird. I do this such a way that your distance, your hostel from your college is less than 2-3 minutes. You don't need a car, you don't need any transport. Transport stations to say.
Quickly, let's move away from the school. We'll come back. I still want to talk about your law practice and maybe ask if there have been some challenging times that you faced. You asked that the other time about maybe there are some landmark cases, as you mentioned, that you had a lot of clients, but maybe you faced some challenges at time and you felt like, wow, this is overwhelming.
No. There was anything that was smooth, was successful.
Your law practice.
Like I told you, I began practice in the garage. It turned itself to be with this car. It didn't 1 year from the pastry plant. In 3 years, I put another house. Then another 2 years, I bought the house fully.
Wow.
Converted it to law office. Within 20 years, I built 2 beautiful offices to accommodate my lawyers who I'm taught as more than 30.
30 then.
It was a most beautiful thing. I was invited to become Minister of Justice twice. Turned it down. I tried. Accepted to the Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos because I thought I'd look there.
Okay.
Because I was chairman of Transparency International of Ghana. That's why I was considered by the president. We are the chairman of Transparency. We are going around Africa to advocate discipline and so and eradicate corruption. Be to Cotonou, be to Kenya. I have my book on it. I give lectures around Africa.
So you rejected the offer to become Attorney General, to become Minister of Justice. And we also we've also heard from you that you also rejected an oil block.
Yes. So
In the first place, I would like to know, why were you offered an oil block?
where I can't remember how it all happened, but I remember that there was a minister
Okay.
who came here, Minister of Petroleum. So this boy here, tell how that man came to take the whole university. Time going. No, not you. It's you yourself. Remember the minister who came here? Can you remember?
I think it will never be easy.
You can't remember the name.
We want that.
Who came to law college and told them how I rejected the college. Maybe time we will remember. No.
Then I didn't meet back to work. Oh, see how you work. Sing.
Exactly.
The world go be a AK.
It was like he was a minister for something. So he came to give a lecture here. I told them how my file was there, was given an air block. And I said, but I didn't even did any air block. Because for one thing,
Okay.
the price at which they want to give it out was lower than market value. People in future will now say, we are also beneficiary of all this power. That way, otherwise, we are taking it. They want to sell it at normal price. That's the only reason.
Okay. So that's why you rejected it, sir. Well, I will come back to some issues about family later, sir. But I really want to talk about an issue that is actually still generating debates and controversies in Nigeria. It's about the state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu in Rivers States, where the governor, the deputy governor, and the state assembly had to be suspended for a period of 6 months. I would like to know your view, because there have been different interpretations, there have been different views from legal practitioners. You are the Areba Mofe.
Well, in a state of emergency, only comes in when the state is involved in crisis,
Okay.
which would impede progress,
Okay.
movement of people,
Okay.
and possibly we have lives of people in danger.
Danger.
I can tell you that I expect better governors from that River State. It's a wealthy state.
Well, the state, yes.
Wealth to be used to make people fly better. That is not the case. Rather, they won't. You see, government and non-government and different parties claim even people disobeying court orders and resorting to arms. A responsible federal government under the law cannot open its eyes wide and hear these things happen.
Okay.
The law provides
Okay.
and gives it power to declare state of emergency there.
Okay.
That will enable things to cool down. That will enable the government to look into solutions to the problems.
Okay.
So instead of going to court and obtaining
Party most.
conflicting orders. I don't want to comment on the conflicting orders, but I want to recall is that Lord Denny, one of the greatest judges of all times, once said that I can give judgment for either side at any time. I repeat, I can give judgment for either side at any time.
Okay.
and support it to reasons.
From either sides.
Yes, I'm supporting
With reasons. You have your valid reasons presented. So
instead of allowing that situation to happen, where A will go to court A, gets his own order, B goes to court D, gets his order, Tinubu did the right thing.
but the argument is that he shouldn't have suspended an elective governor.
When you talk about emergency, it means about the government and the people. What is happening is not the action of the people alone, but also the people on top. Really, governors and non-governors, extra governors,
They are the key players. They are the actors.
they're the actors.
But when Goodluck Jonathan declared a state of emergency in Yobe, Adamawa, and of course in Borno, those days, the governors, the elective officers were spared at that time. And people have been making references to...
Wait, I can't remember the fact, but I'm sure they were not the actors. The way they are.
Well, it was, terrorism.
This is they involve the actors here, people causing problem, and the very people who want to make sure that there was peace. I think I will support him anytime.
Anytime.
And if he wants a legal aid, we can come to.
And do you think this will prefer solution to the matters?
Certainly, it will prefer solution. You see, there's so much greed in the country. Election into public position is not an avenue to make money. On the contrary, it is an avenue for you to serve free. I served free for 7 years in the University of Lagos. Money due to me was put in a special account for scholarship for students. Go and check.
Wow.
Don't go to government position, take government position. They have to make money. They are fighting over money.
So everything it's about
where I can get my money. The idea, me and you and others join together to emphasize
the important
politics as a lucrative business, the better. Politics is for the service to the people, not to make money. I'll give you an example. When I was in University of Lagos, during convocation, a young man came out very brilliant age.
Yes.
They're 5.0 in chemistry. And I called him. I will sponsor your master's degree.
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Wow.
Forgot all about it. About 2 years after, the young man came, said, and so. We gave me scholarship to so. He's not happy. Oh, very happy. I praise him. Said, now, I will sponsor your PhD degree. Answer, no, sir. No, sir. When I studied and found that 2-3 years for my PhD, it won't translate into a car. My colleague who was
You drop out.
when we were in class, would be several positions behind me. Is now the chairman of the local government. He has a car. He has built a house. He has an orderly, a police orderly. When my PhD give me that order, I couldn't show my sentiment. I went to my bathroom, toilet rather, stayed there for almost 5 minutes, weeping. So this is the mentality of our people. They are posting a politician now. I'm getting older, but I don't think I want to make this country worse than I met it. When he came out, he said he should come back. What about that? People who never won in life, who never made a couple from their education, have become governors. And they declared the richest two in their states. Is that the purpose of becoming governor? The roads are bad, no electricity, no water, nothing. We've got it wrong. People believe that politics is an avenue to make
money.
Shouldn't be. Please go ahead, tell them. It's a great honor to be elected to serve.
Yeah.
And that service doesn't mean to make money. It's to lend weight to your belief that people should develop and to make your own money available to them to develop. If you have the money, use your connection because you are now in a good position to borrow money to develop them. Rather, they borrow money, they steal the money.
So in all of this, what's now the way forward? Or how to bring out
Way out. Have a way out. Have a way out. We must draft a new constitution.
a new constitution?
The constitution must contain, among others, conditions to be fulfilled by anybody who want to aspire to become an elected office holder. One, who are your parents? There's a body who will have to look at that. Two, what's your education? When you pass out, what have you done in life? What for contribution
Have you helped your
society?
country or the society?
And then they go before such powerful tribunal or committee, headed by those who believe passionately in equality, like Bishop Kuka, like Afe Babalola, and many others. Before you can become under local government, those people must give you a certificate that you have the right to have a place. Not just anybody who come here from nowhere, bribe money, and then we'll find the way again of ensuring that election tribunal is full of people who believe in progress, not appointed by the government.
The government of the day. But a lot on our plates, a lot to actually dissect. But I want us to touch on an issue that's happened recently about a lawyer who alleged in a book that he released that you have used your office and your position, your personality to corrupt the judiciary. It was a back and forth case for many weeks, many months. And then later, just overnight, just one day, you woke up and in the company of some well-respected and revered traditional rulers said you have forgiven this man. Yes, your actions have been commended by a lot of people, being an elder statesman, being a leader of thoughts in Nigeria here. But people will keep asking that question that why would Afe forgive this man who came up with this weighty and hefty allegation against his personality?
I only hope you listen to what the pastor said.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Precisely, they said, my contributions to community, to individuals, to colleges, to universities, are there for anybody to see. For instance, when I was in University of Lagos, I never earned a kobo. Is that not true?
Sis.
So if somebody now says I'm a corrupt person, what does that apply? Twice I'm been appointed as attorney general, twice attorney that. Is it because I'm corrupt that I attorney them? Certainly not. If you go to a teaching hospital at Ibadan, you see a mighty hall called nuclear medicine department,
Okay.
which I built free. Which is the leading one in the country today. Is that correct? Am I corrupt by doing that? If you go to College of Law at the University of Ibadan, you see the circular road there. I built free for money. If you go to Ibadan still, you will see the Nigeria Basation Center, which I built free. Is it because of my corruption? Okay. If you come to Ade-Ekiti, we see the Nigeria Basation Center, which I built free. Or the building built for people to senior elders.
Elder Council.
Elder Council. Is it again? The directly opposite is the Polytechnic. I built it with my money.
The Federal Polytechnic.
The Federal Polytechnic.
That's Ade-Ekiti. Wow.
With my own money.
A government-owned university.
Yes, I built it. If you go to Ekiti State University, which I brought through, which was not there through me, we see my building there. You see, is it because look, when you go round and you see all the things I've done, apart from this my university, which is several billions of dollars, not naira. After selling my own properties in London and other places. And now it's very number one in the country. Is it because of corruption? The man mentioned judges in Lagos, judiciary, by name. Then he now said, his real court consisting of several judges are corrupt. Not one of them said they are corrupt. Why? Because they knew that one, this man was never a lawyer before them. I don't know him. He wasn't in a law practice. He had no case he had no case before the judge where I was party. Not to. So when decent, intelligent, highly respected Obas and bishops said, there's nothing in this book that any living person ought to hold as affecting you. Want to jail him by going to the police. They have arrested them, they handcuffed him, they put him there for 20. So please, sir, leave the young man. What are you going to do with his
Incarceration.
imprisonment? Can I look at such people as foolish? I was brought up under native blood culture of these people to listen to others. The Bible also teaches you even to forget.
But there are other people like former President Olusegun Obasanjo. I think, Presidential candidate Obi was there. I don't know if he came to plead on his behalf, but other people
He came to plead
okay. So other people had come before the kings.
before the king. They came before him, but at that time I was still Philip, but time the dealer of all this is.
Time is the healer for.
By the time they came and they pleaded, not one person, not two persons, but from more parts of the country. Who am I, for God's sake? Because of the respect they have for me. And as I said they appreciate what I've done, and that what they said has something to do, does not in any way whatsoever affect the integrity, the achievements, and so on. What else? In other words, they didn't count it to be anything. So should I continue to fight what nobody regards as having a friend? Since then, I've received so many awards. I mean, was it 15? How many people came from the band? How many was it? 16 professors came from the band university. They just left 2 days ago. Give me an award, which is come up in September, doctorate degree. Because if you don't count it, if he wants to make name by bringing my name down, I'd be stupid in joining him. At that time, it was a joy for all
Bloggers.
social media. Hey, he says so. He was selling it. I mean, they were making money. That's what he wanted to do. You do read the book?
His book, yes, I saw some part of it.
Is it a book?
It depends. It depends on.
One depends. A pamphlet. Who authored it? You put his name. Who was the publisher?
I have an online.
He was a publisher.
I have a soft copy online. Cool.
Is the publisher is the editor.
So nobody even read it. When you read the book, you publish a book to build somebody to edit and write a forward. And write a forward. Nobody wrote a forward. Nobody would have written a report today. Nobody. Why is it that it was so forward? By somebody of importance. Why is it that it was somebody by a reputable company that can be sued? Because if a reputable company publishes that, it's already liable. If you say you can't get him cover from him, so that's why I decided to report to police. The police now knew their law and arrested him, went to court of law. Court of law granted where did you grant to? No. Granted do something to publish, to arrest him. Give the order to arrest him.
What are the warrants?
Arrest. And then, more importantly, they look for him for about 10 days.
He ran into hiding.
We're looking for him.
He was hiding.
Was hiding?
They couldn't find him in his house. If you saw the clever way the police got in the price. If he knew if he believed in what he did, why was he running away from the police? And when he got to the police, he said, "Who are these people you mentioned?" He said, couldn't mention one name of any judge. Not one. Before the evidence, the writings before the police. And when he was arrested, he said he was not the only person.
They said it was not the only
person behind it.
behind it.
Yes. They did ask for the name of those other persons, he refused. The police also asked for the name of the person, he refused. It was a deliberate effort to malign me. And the Yoruba say, look, you are too much for that. Don't jail the young man. If you were, wouldn't you say, thank you, my lord? I agree.
Out of respect and honor.
Oh, no. What I've done to me is in line with the custom of Yorubas. I'm not a young man. I'm the Arab of Yoruba land. If the great Obas left their homes, well,
away from your personality now, but there have also been some lawyers, revered lawyers, Femi Falana, to be specific, have also talked about corruption and rot in the judiciary. So I want to know, because you've been around for so many years, truly, you are a person of integrity, but are there some bad eggs, truly? Because there is no perfect sector, there is no perfect situation. There are some bad eggs. Truly, I've read Femi Falana, I've read some of his write-ups, and where he has talked about even some senior lawyers who are involved with some shady things.
I've not read this paper attacking senior lawyer.
I have some. Yeah.
I've read this papers attacking judgments.
Okay.
To attack judgments is not the same as to say that the judges are corrupt.
Okay.
You make the point.
All right.
Make the point again.
Okay.
The fact that you say judgment is wrong is not the same that judge is corrupt. Corruption means taking money, taking some other benefits, not to write a judgment. Whereas I have lost cases in the High Court, in the Court of Appeal, and won the Supreme Court because of what we call legal error.
Okay.
It's not the same thing as taking money or not to taking money. For example, if there's a case where a witness ought to be called and you didn't call it, what the Supreme Court has a right to say it's a bad judgment. There are many reasons why a judgment is bad, not because of money.
So you don't agree that there is any sort of rot in the judiciary as written by Femi Falana in 2016?
No, I've written about that myself. There are many areas where we can improve.
Or we need reforms.
Yes, reforms.
Okay.
For instance, I don't believe that judges, people should apply to become judges.
Okay.
No, I don't believe in it. Nowadays, you are invited because of the quality they see in you. But for you to be a lawyer after 10 years of selling food, which qualifies you to become a judge, if you want to be this, so it's wrong. The mode of appointment and the type of people appointed some of the time may be wrong, but not to say the old judiciary is corrupt is wrong.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. I must say that we sincerely appreciate your perspectives, your views, and everything you have shared with us. But I quickly want to wrap it up with a bit of personal life again. Let's quickly go back. We've not talked about you struggled a lot, and when you were coming up, you even describe yourself as a charge and bail lawyer initially, and now you are an enigma, well respected. At what points did you decide to settle down? I feel like, okay, because looking at how you've been very busy, tenacious, and consistent with your work, marriage, when did you decide to give that a thought? And how did it happen?
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Years in life, I began with a bit of financial problem. I'm a self-made man.
Self-made man.
Absolutely. Without secondary education. And yet, with 2 degrees, London University, I private study. A very rare thing in economics and law. Most people outside Nigeria are very impressed with what I've achieved. And I have more than 9 doctorate degrees from different universities, including University of London itself. Today, what do you call it now? King's College of London again. Give me. What do you talk on? No.
Spelling? Should be center.
Pardon?
They need the center advisor.
No, something I forgot. Your relative.
King's College?
And the member of their
Okay. Okay, that
fellow, we
get it.
and the fellow of King's College today. So that was governing council. It's a very, very important. This week, we had large number of professors, about 15, from the Bio University,
The Durban Less of Oral Phoenix.
to give me a letter that they want to give me an award, Kupaledi at the convention coming up in September. They did sign this. They one could see this university, and they brought the letter. So, what you do not know, which I must tell you, is that when students from my university apply for masters in universities like Oxford, university says that university is quality university. They're not going to do masters. Go straight to PhD.
Wow.
No university has got that honor. At the end of the day, let me give glory to God. Let me glory to my teachers who are as committed as myself, and to my students who are also learning from us how to be men in New Nigeria. They are recommended by everybody that came here that when you see them, they will greet you, showing evidence of good manners. Unlike what you see in other places, they already show you yourself out on the way. I only hope that NUC said that my university is a model and reference point. I want this university to be a reference point to the government.
No.
NUC is already doing so. She wants to start a university, go to Abela University. And many other universities have come here, other universities, to come and see how we achieve all these seemingly impossible goals in short time. I'm thank you for coming. You have seen yourself
Thank you very much.
what this space is like.
Thank you very much, sir.
And the more you ask people to believe in standard, work and uplift standard of education, the better. Education is the surest way of fighting ignorance, tribalism, corruption, and lifting yourself above all these things. I believe that without Woozy Hall, we would have died long ago on the farm.
Thank you very much, sir. So as I wrap up, I'm just asking this one question. I think it's just a one answer that you provide to